All right, so gradual value change. I'm going to start out again with just my French gray 10%. Again, you can use the cool gray if you'd like, or if you have warm gray, that will work. One thing to note is the grays, warm versus, or sorry, cool versus French or warm. They don't necessarily play well together. They're very different grays. So if you layer a French on top of a cool, um, it's not the same as just layering um, consistently on the cool grays consistently on top, or the French grays. It definitely has a different effect. Not to say you can't do that, but they don't always they don't always work real well together. So gradual value change, if you think back to our value scale, and we have those definite increments from 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 10, we have 10 very distinct values. The idea with gradual value change is to get those values to kind of blend together. So to show you guys how this might work is I will start with 10% gray, and the way to get this to work well is to apply the layers of marker rather quickly. Okay, so we're going to do one quick coat of just 10%. Okay, and then I'll come in about a third of the way into the box and apply a second coat. Okay, and then I'm going to come another third, or overall 2/3, into the box and apply a third coat. And the idea is that we get kind of a gradual change in value, or shift in value across the surface. Very rarely in real life is something completely flat. It's much more realistic to have something that has some gradual value shifts. Okay, so if we were going to take this concept to the next level, in a three-dimensional type cube, what I would do is, again, think of the separate planes and which ones are going to be a little bit lighter, which ones are going to be a little bit darker. Okay, so for the top, I might actually, rather than actually filling the very top plane in with just 10%, I might move into about a third and start with that 0 value, then get into 10%, go another third, and do a second coat, and then you have a nice shift from the lightest value to like a 2 or a 3. Okay. Then for the face, we can do a kind of a similar kind of treatment. Do a coat of 10%, come in a third, put a second coat down, come in another third, and put in a third coat. And then if you wanted to, you could actually, right at the very edge, put in like a fourth or fifth coat. So you can see how that really punches up the edge here, and gives some life to the top of that plane. For the side that's in shade, go ahead and use my 30%, and what I would do is just lay a coat, an even coat across, do the third, or that whole plane, and then maybe halfway do a second coat, and then it gives it kind of this idea that it's a little bit lighter, closer to you or the viewer, and then it recedes and gets a little bit darker. And to bump that up a little bit, I might just give another coat just right to to that back edge, just to give that. You can see that there is, I was pointing to my computer screen, but you can, excuse me, you can see here that there's some real life and some dimension here because we have different values. But here, because we have gradual shifts in value, it's giving it just a little bit more interest, a little bit more life. So then for the shadow, we can do the same thing. And typically a shadow, you know, in real life is just going to be very flat. It's just going to be one value. But because we have some artistic license in our drawings, we can actually play around with the shadows and, you know, give them a little bit more life if we want to. What I like to do is right up against where the shadow meets the object is kind of reinforce that edge, and I'll do another coat or two right at the edge to really reinforce where the change in planes are from the ground and then the object sitting on that plane. Okay, so that's the concept or the general idea of gradual value change. Okay, again, I'll let you guys kind of complete the third block here on gradual value change. But again, think of, as you're drawing, and anytime you're drawing any subject, think of where your light source is, and it can be a real light source or it can be an imagined light source. You know, a lot of times when we're drawing a rendering of an interior space, we have a good idea of where the light source may be coming from, but we can exaggerate that. We can manipulate that as artists and say, well, I want more light to be coming, you know, from the left of the room or the right, or from the top, you know, or if there's like a lamp fixture or something like that, we can manipulate the light source. That's what's kind of nice about having artistic license. So let me pause this video and then I will start contrast.